flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. We'll have a moment of silence. Thank you. Vanessa, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Sanado?
Here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here. We do have a quorum. We'll note for the record that our friend Commissioner Kennedy continues to be on medical leave, but as long as there are two of us up here, we're legally able to conduct business. We always have time during our meeting for public comment. We have two opportunities for public comment, one in just a few moments, and then one before we adjourn. You're very welcome to speak both times or just one of the two times, or if you're just here to listen, that's also fine. We do ask that if you do have comments, we need to have you identify yourself for the record. And also your comments need to be related to county government matters, if you could, please. And if you could try to limit your time to roughly 5 minutes or so, we would appreciate that courtesy. I trust everybody has an agenda. So next on the agenda, we always do set aside time for the elected row officers in case any of them have any matters to bring before this board, but today none of the row officers happen to be here. So that does take us to Roman numeral 3, which is public comment. I'll open the floor if anybody wishes to speak at this time. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Dan Bailey from Vision Ministries. Our question, this is my colleague Vaughn Preachings, and I think most of you probably know us and what we do. Our question is related to asking the next, when the next opioid settlement meeting will be and what the progress is for this year. We're just not sure if there needs to be new applications. We thought that we came in February there was, and when there would be a due date for those. I don't know if you've gotten that far, in your deliberations, but that has to do with our question.
Well, you've come to the right place because the gentleman to my left chairs the advisory board, which ultimately makes recommendations to the Board of Commissioners. And Joe, if you don't mind, if you'd like to respond.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner. And thanks for the question. There will be new funding opportunities coming up. This afternoon, we have an executive session to discuss the dates of the new application process, as well as a couple new funding opportunities that have come in through the opioid process, and as well as review previous plans and the most recent plans. I would expect probably by the first week of July's meeting, it'll be a public meeting that we will announce the next round of funding opportunities that would be going out. Yes, there would be an additional application that would need to be submitted, even if it was for the same type of thing that you submitted before. Mm-hmm. We would need a new application process towards the guidelines. But I would expect the first week of our first meeting in July that we would have the dates of the next grant opportunities going out.
Joe, would that tentatively be July 2nd?
Yes.
Tentatively. First Tuesday of July.
Yes, first Tuesday of July. It's the first Tuesday of every month, so public meeting. We needed to have a work session today, though, an executive work session.
Meetings are at noon in this.
12 o'clock here.
12 o'clock here.
Yes.
And that would be July 2nd.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Much appreciated. Things have evolved during a year, and we have some additional focus areas. So.
Okay.
If by chance that meeting date would change, would you be able to notify these guys?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Much appreciated, Joe. Thank you.
The only thing I could think of is because of the holiday, if we didn't have a quorum, we may push it back a week, but we won't cancel for the month.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
We're closed on obviously July 4, which is Thursday. Mr. Sonata, do you have any comments regarding this subject that we've been discussing?
No, I know both Vaughn and Dan and the work that they've done in the community. I've worked with them many years and they're involved in the community.
Thank you.
They're very active. I want to commend both of you and Randy Crum for your efforts.
Oh, thank you.
You know, we always want to try to work with you within the guidelines.
Yeah.
Mr. Vanasco is the chairman and he goes through everything and he's very thorough and we rely a lot on him when it comes to funding mechanisms. And this money must come from the opioid settlement, so it wouldn't involve our general fund, which is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, so I just go out there, thank you for your efforts. I know it's all volunteer and that's so important. Educating the community is important because, you know, with fentanyl out there one time in your day, that's just unthinkable.
Yeah, yes, it is.
And I know you lived it on.
Yeah.
You know, and we appreciate your passion to try to save the lives of others. So that's really all I have to say.
We appreciate those comments
Yes.
because it's been very important to us because we have now gotten into at least 3 schools where we regularly teach their 8th grade class on a periodic basis. So we want to expand that because the children are our future. One of these days, they'll be sitting in those chairs. Thank you again,
Very
Buzz.
good point. Thank you, gentlemen. You know, you're always welcome to these meetings as well as the advisory board meetings. And
Thank you,
we
sir.
appreciate all, as Commissioner Sanada said, we appreciate all that you've done to help this community as well. You are very welcome to stay for as much of this meeting as you wish. If you have other things to do, we understand. But please, whatever you do, whatever works for you.
I think you guys have answered our question. I just want to thank you guys. You guys have been very supportive of us, all of you guys, and I can't thank you enough.
You're most welcome.
Thank you. But I do have to cut grass. So.
Supposed to bring in next 3 days.
That's right. Now, better get it done today. Exactly.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's move on then. Unless there are any other public comments, we'll move on to fiscal and contractual. I believe the next item is simply as a follow-up to last week when Rebecca Schaefer was here from the planning office to discuss the CDBG curb ramp improvement project in the borough of Elwood City. Are we simply acknowledging today that there will be advertisements for the bids? Okay. Thank you. Excuse me. Next on the agenda are the warrant registers from the Controller's Office dated May 29 and May 30. Commissioner Sanada, I'll give you the time that you need to look them over, and you're certainly welcome to ask any questions you might have, or if you have no questions, you're welcome to make a motion. But please take whatever time you need.
I want to make a motion to accept the warrant resolution.
Thank you, and I'll second that motion. Unless there are any questions, we can take a roll call on the motion, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thanks, Vanessa. Also in our packet, and by the way, these documents that we'll be referring to during the course of the meeting are all available for public viewing if you need to see them. The minutes of the May 28 Commissioners meeting are for us to consider. And once again, Chris, whenever you would be ready, I could take a motion to adopt the minutes.
It seems in order. I'm going to make a motion to adopt the minutes of the prior commissioners meeting.
Thank you, and I'll second that motion. And again, if there are no concerns, we can take a roll call.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. We have a number of written communications that we need to enter into the record, so I hope you'll bear with me. As I go through this, Chris, stop me if you have any questions, please. The first document is from Frank B. Taylor Engineering dated May 30. It is notification, Act 14 notification, which is required by the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, notifying the county that Mr. Scott McCurdy intends to submit a notice of intent for a new national pollutant discharge elimination system general permit for discharges from small flow treatment facilities, as well as a notice of intent for a new water quality management general permit for small flow treatment facilities. He'll be submitting those documents to the Department of Environmental Protection. The location is 437 Arthur Drive in Plain Grove Township. Project description, a single residence sewage treatment plant to replace the malfunctioning septic system serving the existing home on the property at 437 Arthur Drive in Plain Grove Township. The second item is from the Elwood City Forge, giving Act 14 notification that that company will be submitting to the Department of Environmental Protection in accordance with Act 14, a proposal that will modify their Plan 37-008C. The modification is to remove the testing requirements for sources 500C, 500D, and 500E, and replace with an annual tune-up requirement. This submission on the part of the Elwood company, Elwood City Forge specifically, does go to the DEP in Meadville. The letter does not specify the location of their facility, although the address on the letter is from 700 Moravia Street here in the city of Newcastle. Now, their corporate offices are in the borough of Elwood City. So our assumption is that this is either here in the city of Newcastle with their facility or possibly in the borough of Elwood City. The next item is going to need a little bit of explanation. It's Act 14 notification. Mr. Zachary Cower has applied to the DEP for the reissuance of a national pollutant discharge elimination system permit for sewage. Now, the document that Mr. Cower sent was actually originally mailed to Mercer County Planning. And the letter also stated that the proposed activities would take place in Shenango Township, Mercer County at 3126 Leon Drive. And there is a Shenango Township in Mercer County, just as there is in Lawrence County. Our planning office, however, investigated this document and corresponded with DEP to notify them that the application is consistent with the adopted county comprehensive plan, but they noted the following. As understood by the Lawrence County Department of Planning, Mr. Cower is applying to the DEP for a national pollutant discharge elimination system permit. The notification received states that the location address is 3126 Leon Drive, Shenango Township, Mercer County. The notification was forwarded to Lawrence County from Mercer County, as this address does not exist in Mercer County. It is understood that the project location is 126 Leon Drive, Newcastle, Shenango Township, Lawrence County. This consistency letter does not waive any local or county land development or subdivision submission requirements. Please confirm that all plans have been submitted to applicable municipalities and county agencies for review and comment. And that's been signed by Mary Glass, the CDBG administrator and office manager for our county planning office. So it appears that the applicant had the wrong information on his original document, and our office has taken the appropriate steps to make note of the corrections to that. So we'll see, it'll now go to DEP for their consideration. We do not have any jurisdictional authority over this other than they're obligated by law to notify us of this, which they've done. The next item is from, I believe it would be pronounced Napic Engineering, based in Hermitage, PA. And it's county notification of planned land development for Chapter 102 permits on behalf of Steelite International. This is their Greenfield Project Phase 1 located in Neshannock Township. And the letter, I'll summarize it or just read the necessary portions of it. On behalf of Steelite International USA, Inc., and in accordance with the Pennsylvania DEP's land use policy, Napic Engineering is submitting an enclosed county notification of planned land development for Chapter 102 permits associated with Phase 1 of the Greenfield DC project located within the existing Millennium Technology Park in Neshannock Township, Lawrence County. Also, please find enclosed a copy of the preliminary proposed Millennium Park subdivision number 4 and an overall proposed conditions site plan showing the planned land development activities. The purpose of this notification is to inform the county in accordance with satisfying the requirements contained within Act 14 of 1984, as well as Acts 67, 68, and 127 of 2000 of Steelite International's intent to submit a renewal and a minor amendment permit application associated with the existing individual national pollutant discharge elimination system permit number PAB 370007. There's a lot in this letter, but it does, I guess, to summarize, notes that they are moving forward with their proposed expansion at their facility in Neshannock Township. The next document is from Mr. Douglas Sable. Pursuant to Act 14, this is to advise you that Mr. Sable has applied to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for the issuance of a National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit for sewage, as well as a Water Quality Management Part 2 permit for sewage. The permit allows the discharge of treated sewage to the surface waters of the Commonwealth and/or the construction of the facility. The proposed activities will take place in Plain Grove Township, and discharge will be to a tributary to the Jameson Run, also in Plain Grove Township. And the final letter that we have to enter into the record is from Frank B. Taylor Engineering. It is notifying the county that Neshannock Township intends to submit an application to DEP to obtain a general permit BWEWGP 11 for the maintenance, testing, repair, rehabilitation, or replacement of water obstructions and encroachments for the following project. This is a culvert replacement on Kingswood Drive in Neshannock Township. So this is probably the largest number of documents we've had in a long time. Mr. Sonata, do you have any questions or concerns about any of them?
I know, Mr. Chairman, I think you explained it thoroughly and appreciate your research and doing that. So I have no questions.
Would you be willing to make a motion to accept these documents?
I make a motion to accept these documents.
Thank you very much. And we'll also then, if it's approved, we'll enter them into the record. So I'll second the motion and request a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sanado?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Before we move on to commissioner reports and comments, I want to welcome Debbie Wachter from the Newcastle News. And we're down to just approaching commissioner reports and comments. I will have my packet for you. We did have the initial public comment. I'll see if either you or the gentleman that's with you, if you folks have any questions.
Introduce him. This is Hayden Schultz. He's our intern for the summer from Slippery Rock.
Nice to meet you guys.
Welcome, Hayden. Glad to have you here today.
Thank you.
What's your major?
Journalism, and minor in political science.
I would have bet journalist.
Yeah.
I would have won that.
Yeah, good guess.
Where are you from, Hayden?
Thank you.
I'm from Zillionople.
Oh, you're close then.
You're a Seneca Valley graduate?
I am.
Oh, okay. Big high school.
Yes.
Well, I bet your graduating class had what, 600 maybe?
That's right.
Wow.
Money.
How about that? Well, you're in very good company with Debbie. And we appreciate both of you joining us today. And Debbie gives me the opportunity to congratulate you on your, is it the Golden Quill Award? And I can't remember if you received one or more awards, but I know you got at least.
Nominated for 2, we received 1.
That's great.
And then runner-up for the second.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Well deserved. That will take us to Commissioner reports and comments. I get to go first today. And I'll simply note that after this meeting, Mr. Sanada and I will be driving up to the Neshannock Township building to attend the meeting of the Southwest Pennsylvania Commission's Public Participation Panel. Debbie, I assume you're aware of this meeting. Okay, good. I just wanted to double check. It begins at 11:30. It is open to the public, and the focus of the meeting is the 2025 to 2028 Regional Transportation Improvement Program. As the federally designated metropolitan planning organization, SPC is required by the state and federal government to host public meetings. And so they will be doing this throughout southwestern Pennsylvania. It just so happens that today the meeting will be held up at the Neshannock Township building. So once again, our folks from our local county planning office are probably all up there already preparing for the meeting. So just wanted to make you all aware of that. Debbie, I'm glad you're taking Hayden with you as well. I think they're serving lunch, so hopefully you'll have an appetite.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing I'll note is that on Friday of this week, June 7th, Commissioner Sanada and I will be attending the Northwest Commission, Northwest Regional Planning Commission's board meeting. And that will be held in Franklin, up in Venango County. This will be my last meeting on that board. I currently chair the board, and my role as chair will come to an end at the end of June. And I have advised the staff and the board members up there that effective July 1, my intent is to step aside from the board. I've been serving on this board now for about 5 years. And Mr. Sanada will be taking my place as the county's representative to that board. The new chair of the board, assuming it's approved on Friday, will be County Commissioner Abramovic from Venango County. But I've enjoyed serving on that board. Mr. Sanada will certainly bring a lot to the table as he takes my place on that board. I also neglected to note that tomorrow at noon, this will be June 5, the County Conservation District will hold its regular monthly meeting at 12 noon out at the Grill on the Hill restaurant in Neshannock Township. That's also open to the public. Those are my comments. Commissioner Sanada.
Thank you, Chairman Vogler. Just to follow up with the Southwest, I had that opportunity last week, I think it was last Wednesday. I had an opportunity to go to Pittsburgh to attend a meeting with Secretary of Transportation Mike Carroll. I had an opportunity. I served with Mike for 16 years in the legislature, and he presented it to most of the Southwest counties. There were many commissioners there, as well as representatives from the region with Rich Fitzgerald, the head of SPC. I thought it was very well. I think Mr. Carroll did a good job understanding each county. His commitment was to be in each county to talk to the different ad hoc regions and their commitments. And I'm hoping I know Mike, and I think he's a decent person. He understands the transportation issues. He comes from the Scranton area, and they've had some issues with state roads up there, especially 81. If you've ever traveled up in Scranton, there's potholes right on the main highway. We're fortunate here, our state highways are pretty good as far as being maintained, the major highways. But I was driven up to Scranton, we actually had potholes on 81, which if anyone's familiar with 81, it's a very heavily traveled interstate. So I wish Mike the best, and we look forward to working with him and his people for Lawrence County. I know that's a big issue, especially our secondary state roads here in Lawrence County. I think our main roads are well taken care of. It's the secondary state roads. We want to make sure we get more attention. I think that's important. So I had that opportunity, this coming weekend, I do want to throw out there, I'm going to be actually giving a greeting out at the Ramona Music Fest. I was asked to do that a while back, and it's coming up. Just for those who don't realize, this is a group of musicians throughout the county, and the kickoff, I believe, is going to be in Pulaski Township in the Villa Maria. That's where I was asked to go. And they're going to have multiple concerts throughout our county, and they do a really great job. And they asked me to help promote it, so they asked me to be there and to talk about it. So today I'm going to talk about it. Next week I'll talk about it again. I think it's a great opportunity for our community to enjoy the arts, and that is so important. Music is very important to our community. That's pretty much what I have for this week. Like I said, I get ready for a meeting with them out in Shannon this afternoon because it is important to get public input and have opportunities. And Debbie, once again, I want to congratulate you as well on your awards. I know you've been at this a long time, and you're going to get a little experience this summer working with Debbie because she's got. I always use the word institutional knowledge. That means when you've been there for a while, and you know what's going on. So we won't talk how many years, but Debbie's been around a while, so she'll teach you the ropes of Lawrence County and how everything operates. Wish you both. Wish you good luck with your internship.
Thank you.
I had an opportunity as a legislator to have interns in the summer on occasion. And they were very valuable. And I actually hired interns over the years that actually stayed on for a while. And I think that's so important. Get a chance to get a feel of it. And I think, you have a lot to learn. So good luck to you. All right, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Chris. I'd like to, if you don't mind, Mr. Grippo, would you be kind enough to allow Mr. Acabone to jump ahead of you?
Yeah, if he can jump ahead of
I
it.
appreciate that. You've got 6 items, Mr. Acabone only has 1, so if you don't, and I talked to Commissioner Sonato in advance, he's okay with this as well. So Mike, Mike Acabone, if you'd like to come forward.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And thank you, Mr. Grippo. What we're looking at is I believe this is a contract renewal with SBM Electronics out of Pittsburgh to provide the recording device maintenance services in the courts. And the proposal would be at a cost not to exceed $5,995. It would be a 1-year contract. But Mike, would you like to give us any of the specifics about this?
Yeah, it's probably about 10 years ago. We received recording equipment from SBM Electronics to help offset costs so that our stenographers wouldn't have to sit in each court proceeding. And it saved us so much money because when we didn't have enough stenographers, we would have to outsource, and we would have to get stenographers to come in, spend at a cost of between $70,000 and $120,000 a year. So when we got the electronic equipment, the stenographers have the ability to be in court proceedings when they're needed, and when they're not, they can do their work and then just transcribe as needed. So there are some things, for example, trials, equitable distributions, where they sit in themselves, but otherwise they could use this recording equipment. And we have Glenn Samirsky is our representative from SBM Electronics. He's from Pittsburgh area, but anytime that we need him, he's here. His son's here. Sometimes they do things remotely to save money. But we have an excellent relationship with them, and they are here at our every whim. So I can't speak highly enough of them or the company.
Thank you for that information. It's very helpful. Before I turn it over to Commissioner Sanada for any questions, what number are we going to?
We're gonna go out of order. So,
That's fine.
okay, it's gonna be 122.
122, thank you. Mr. Sanada, do you have any questions for Mr. Achabon?
No, just one. Mike, how long has this been going on, this program?
I think probably at least 10 years. Yes.
So you say it's working well?
Right. We went down, when we did not have the recording equipment, we went down to Beaver County where they were using this electronic equipment. And then it helped us see how it worked, how to bring it back to Lawrence County and have it be operational here. And it's been excellent ever since.
So you're saying it's that you get $100,000.
At least, yes.
Oh, we appreciate that. If you find more of these type of things, let us know. But no, thank you. I think that's so important, and especially with technology today, we need to tap into some of those things. So appreciate you being on the forefront of that.
Thank you.
Mr. Vanasco, do you have a question?
I do, just real quick. Mike, on my resolution, there's no end date. It says the term of agreement. Is that June 1st, 2024 through May 31st, 2025? Mine ends with just 202.
Oh,
Is it 20, I'm
Yes.
assuming
Yes.
24? Okay.
glad you caught that, Joe. Yeah, so we'll just add the 4, making that
Thank you.
2024. Based upon the discussion we've had, by the way, I neglected to note for the record, I think, that Mr. Achabon serves as the court administrator here for the Lawrence County Courts. Given the discussion we've had, I could take a motion then for us to approve the proposed resolution 122.
I move we approve resolution 122.
I will second your motion. And unless there are any other questions, we can take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Mike, it's always good to see you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us. We'll jump back. Mr. Grippo, thank you for your courtesy. Mike Grippo is from our Children and Youth Services Department, and it's that time of year where we are either renewing existing contracts with providers or possibly entering into new ones. Looks like today you've got 6 of them for us to talk about, and you've given us the supporting documentation, which is always very helpful. Let's start with, and by the way, what number is the first one?
116.
Thank you. This is proposed resolution 116. This would be the agency known as Adoption Connection PA based in Beaver County. What can you tell us about this one, Mike?
All right, it's a renewal, it's a foster care program. The rates, depending on where the child is placed, what unit, or facility things that needs to be done, it ranges anywhere from $73.47 to $119.34. It is in Beaver County, and if you flip to the next page, it'll tell you how many children we had served in 22-23, which was 9. What we served in 23-24, which is 15, and we currently, as we speak today, have 7 at that facility. And then if you flip to the next page, the Adoption Connection, there was no increase in their rates from last year to this year. And the very last column, the OCYF, is actually what the state approves. So we always want to make sure they're at or below the state approved, unless the county would have to pay more money for it. Okay, so they had a 0% increase.
Would your preference be we walk through these and take one motion for all 6?
Sure.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, Chris, for Mr. Grippo?
No, I think it was straightforward, and we might get 0 increase, so.
Right.
Thank you very much. The next proposed resolution would be number 117, Alternative Living Solutions of Latrobe, based in Westmoreland County. What can you tell us about this one?
Okay, it's a renewal, it's a group home. Now the rate, I don't know how I got 240, it's 274. It should be 274. But it's on the rate, it's on the
Is that where it says currently 243?
Yeah, it's
Okay, that should be
274.
274.
But again, it's on, when I turn in a rate sheet, it's 270.
Okay,
I don't know how I got that. But it's actually, we use them for a backup only. Backup only. It's in Westmoreland County, and then we've only had one child there in 22-23. We don't have any now, and we don't have any currently there. Sometimes we need backups in case it's 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, we're finding the place. And then if you go to the alternative solution, their increase is about 12%. However, if we don't use them, it doesn't cost the county. But mainly, we only had one child and we use them for backup.
I think that on the front page, the 243.48 looks as though that was the previous rate.
Yeah,
And, so I've noted that it's 274, but I also see that the state dollar figure is actually $340.43. So this is
lower than what is approved by CYF.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, up until a few years ago, nobody would ever go beyond that. And we're finding in the last 2 or 3 years that they're asking more than what the state approved. So that's why I put that column in. I didn't have it last year because I wanted to double check that we're not costing the county more over and above what the state approved. And it never was a problem before, but
Just the impact of high inflation.
yeah.
Thank you. Questions on this second proposal, Chris?
I think it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, thank you. The next organization, well, I'm going to let you pronounce this.
Alderley.
Auberly, thank you. They're based in McKeesport, Allegheny County. What can you tell us about this organization?
Okay, it's a renewal, it's a foster care. It ranges roughly 115 to 219, depending on where the child's placed. It's in Allegheny County. Alderley, we haven't had any children there since before 22-23. Okay, so we haven't used them. If Alderley rates are basically 0% increase from last year.
Thank you. Mr. Sanada, any questions for Mr. Grippo? No. Thank you. Next would be an organization known as Blueprints, based in Washington County. This is proposed resolution 119.
All right, it's actually weird because last year we didn't have a contract, but the years before we did. But I just put down it's a renewal, it's a foster care, it ranges from 82 to 102, Washington County. Again, Blueprints, we haven't used them either for the last 2 or 3 years. And their rates went up about between 2 and 3%. From last year, but again, we haven't used them. And like, you don't pay unless you place it.
Right. Now, these are certainly the ones that we're not utilizing, that we've always characterized them as good insurance policies, for
Right.
lack of a better term, if the need arises.
If the need arises.
Any questions for Mr. Grippo, Chris?
That sounds straightforward.
Thank you. The proposed resolution 120, this one brought back some memories for me, because I remember last year when you brought this before us, I was insistent that Schnecksville was in Montgomery County, and I was wrong. In fact, even this morning, I double checked.
I can't
You're
believe you
right.
remember that.
I do, 'cause, I was embarrassed. It is in Lehigh County, not Montgomery County, but this is Kids Peace National Centers, Inc. What information can you give us about them, Mike?
All right, it's a renewal, it's a group home / foster care home. And again, when I do these, I try to copy the exact rate sheet because not all these rates are going to apply depending on where the child, and some of these we never use, but at least it gives you an idea of what the rate sheet I see, and that's what I try to do there. But it's a renewal group foster, ranges from 633 to 802. It's in Lehigh County. Again, we had one child there in 23, 24. We currently don't have any. It's a backup facility that we needed to place a child, but currently we have nothing. And they have a 0% increase from last year.
By the way, for Debbie and Hayden, we're referring to a document that Mr. Grippo's given us, and I'll include this in the packet, Debbie, that I give to both of you, so you'll be able to see all these details. Commissioner Sanada, do you have any questions for Mr. Grippo?
No, everything's fine.
Okay, thank you. And then it looks like the last one, number 121, Perseus House based in Erie County. Go ahead, Mike.
It's a renewal, it's a group home. It ranges from roughly 272 to 337. It's again in Erie County. In 22, 23, we had one. 23, 24, we've had two. And currently, right now, we have one child in there. And if you look at the rate sheet, if you look at the asking price, they wanted 307.60, we got them down to 280. So we went from 11% increase to 1.9. The second one, we went from 9.4 to 3 and 6.67 to 3. So they did agree to lower the rates, in case we do need to use them.
Appreciate your diligence on that, and I'll see if Commissioner Sanada has any questions.
No questions.
Well, Mike, I know it's a busy time of year for you.
Yeah.
I would imagine, are we going to see you next week?
You will,
Okay.
and it might be more than these.
That's all right. That's what we're
Well,
here.
what happens is I got like Craig has 3 separate contracts in one. So you're gonna see a lot more contracts, but it might be less providers,
Understood. No, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Chris, unless you have any other questions, I would entertain, if you're so willing, a motion for us to approve proposed resolutions 116 up through and including 121.
I make that motion to approve these resolutions for CYS.
Thank you. I'll second your motion. Any other comments? Mike, anything else?
No.
Okay, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Well, Mike, as always, we appreciate your being here, and I'm guessing you got to run back up the
Yeah.
street, so you take care.
All right, thank you.
See you next week.
Yeah, see me.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you will definitely see me next.
That's fine.
All right.
Thank you. I'll note that we did approve already proposed resolution, what became resolution 122. Next on the agenda, you'll note at the last couple of commissioners' meetings, we've been announcing an opening on the county airport authority. We announced it at 2 consecutive public meetings. We received only one letter of interest.
Correct.
Thank you. From the incumbent, Mr. Joseph Hake, H-A-K-E, who resides in the city of Newcastle. And this would, our action today would reappoint Mr. Hake to a 5-year term on that authority. Mr. Sanada, do you have questions or concerns?
Now, I know Mr. Hake. I know he's been on the airport authority for a long time. I've talked to him in the community. He's very active, so I think he'd make a good reappointment. I know he's very dedicated to the airport authority, and I think I have no issues with that.
Would you care to make a motion?
I move that we reappoint Joseph Hake to the Lawrence County Airport Authority.
Thank you very much. I will second your motion. We'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. Will you be notifying him of his reappointment? Okay, thank you. I appreciate you doing that. Next on the agenda is a proposed resolution that would have the county enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Northwest Commission for a broadband study. It's a regional broadband study. And I'll note, and folks who have been attending our meetings or watching our meetings are well aware that when the ARPA dollars were first distributed, the county earmarked some of those dollars, and we formed a county advisory board, and we contracted with Michael Baker Corporation to conduct a broadband study and took public input. The study has been completed, and I want to credit Amy McKinney, our planning director, and her staff, and all of the folks who volunteered their time toward that effort. What we have before us, I think, would supplement what the county has done. This proposal, as noted, comes from the Northwest Commission, and it is a multi-county undertaking whereby the county of Lawrence, and here we are, these are the other counties that would be participating. Clarion, Crawford, Erie, Forest, Mercer, Venango, Cameron, and Warren would participate in this regional undertaking. And what would happen would be that the Northwest Commission will contract with an organization known as Design 9 to perform a comprehensive implementation study to assess the feasibility, cost, design, and development of broadband infrastructure in this 9-county region. The study will include, but is not limited to, assessment of current broadband coverage and service gaps, identification of potential infrastructure requirements and technology options, analysis of financial models and funding opportunities, and development of a strategic implementation plan with recommendations. The study is scheduled to commence, actually it was scheduled to commence on the 1st of June, and is expected to be completed by September 30 of this year. The Northwest Commission's responsibilities would be to oversee the study, provide regular updates to each county on the progress of the study, and make available the final report by the agreed upon deadline. The counties each would provide Design 9 with access to relevant data and information necessary to conduct the study, designate a primary point of contact to liaison with the Northwest Commission, and the counties would also review and provide feedback on interim findings and draft reports. The cost for the initial phase of the study is scheduled to not exceed $75,625. You divide that by the 9 counties, it would be approximately $8,403 per county. We've, Commissioner Sanada and I have discussed this with Amy McKinney, our planning director. I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to obviously comment in a moment, but in the discussions we've had and in reviewing this document, notwithstanding the earlier report that we've put together specific to Lawrence County, I think Chris and I feel that it might be to our advantage to at least participate in the first phase of this study, just to see what those results are and compare and contrast those results with the result of the Michael Baker study that, once again, was specific to Lawrence County only. And this study, as we noted, is a 9-county regional study, primarily in northwestern Pennsylvania. There may be some results that can enhance what we've already come up with through the Michael Baker study. But I think I want to be clear, again, I'm not going to speak for you. As far as I'm concerned, I'm willing to take this first step and then see what the result is of the initial report that will come out after September 30. And then determine if we're going to participate to any other extent. And that remains to be seen as far as I'm concerned. Again, I'm willing to try this first part of this, but not making any commitments beyond that at this time. Let me see if Mr. Sanada has any comments.
Yeah, Chairman Vogt, I will echo what you said. This is to initial look at it, to see what's there, compare it to what the study that the county did last year. We'll make no commitments going forward. I think, we need to have another set of eyes on this. We do have money set aside as we approved on May the 7th, as some money for the broadband. So this money will not come out of the general fund, which is very important. So I think with the amount with all the other counties participating, it will give us some more insight into the scenario, and it may give us a little different perspective, because we did make a commitment to broadband with the ARPA funds, which we've already appropriated. And so I have no issues with that, but I agree with you, and I think we just want to make the message out there. We're not making a new commitment and spending dollars that we don't have. So we do have money put aside for broadband, and that's where this money would come from. So I would support this proposal.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. This is proposed resolution 124. And once again, just to be clear, this is the county would make a commitment to enter into this memorandum of understanding with the Northwest Commission, along with 8 other counties, for the first phase of this implementation study that will be undertaken by the organization known as Design 9. And the anticipated expenditure amount, as noted earlier, would be approximately $8,403. May I have a motion for resolution 124?
I move we accept resolution 124.
Thank you. I'll second your motion. There are no other comments. We'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. This takes us down to a couple of announcements. The commissioners will meet once again a week from today on June 11 for our regular public meeting at 10 o'clock in this room. Also next Tuesday, June 11, following the commissioners' meeting will be the quarterly meeting of the County Retirement Board, which consists of the 3 commissioners, the county controller, Mr. Prestapine, and the county treasurer, Mr. Rapone. And we will receive an update from Sarah Wilson from Marquette Associates, which is the agency with whom we've contracted to oversee the investments that are made as it relates to the county's pension fund. That meeting is open to the public. The County Planning Commission will hold its monthly public meeting on Wednesday, June 12 at 12 noon at the Newcastle Union Station Craft Distillery, which is right down the street here on East Washington Street in the city of Newcastle. And then finally, it's not on the agenda, but correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that June 19, which is a Wednesday, is a holiday. That's the Juneteenth federal holiday. So the courthouse will be closed on Wednesday, June 19, in observance of that holiday. For those of you who've been around long enough, you might recall that the county used to recognize Flag Day as a holiday. And it was not a federal holiday, unlike Juneteenth. So we've eliminated the having a day off on Flag Day, but we now have, in conjunction with the federal holiday, will be closed on the 19th of June in observance of Juneteenth. Those are the announcements. Let me open the floor to see if there are public comments or questions from either Debbie or Hayden.
How long has Joe Haig been on the airport authority?
Boy, he's been on a while.
I believe since 2004, but I can double check for you if you want to come upstairs.
I was going to guess something like that, but thanks, Vanessa.
They call you?
Yeah, you can call me.
Hayden or Debbie, anything else that you'd like to ask? Thank you. Closing comments from my colleague, Commissioner Sanada.
No, I think we're thorough. I'm looking forward to going up to the SBC meeting. So I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Before I second, it's okay, before I second your motion, let me just make certain that Vanessa or Joe, have we perhaps forgotten anything? Okay, thank you. Now I'll second your motion, Chris, to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye, opposed, the same sign. The motion carries. The meeting is adjourned, but the camera is still functioning until Joe turns it off. So we thank you both.